Well, good morning, everybody. It's Mike from Cruise Vet Adventures here, and this is the Cruise News Today, where I read the news so you don't have to. And just to let you guys know, this is previously recorded. I've got a doctor's appointment this morning, so by the time my normal live time roll around, I'll be there. So I went ahead and recorded the show for you guys to see today. So, without further ado, let me see if we can get this show started. And let's get, oh, well, that's not the one I wanted. Let us go, okay, right here. All right, and let's get into it. All right, our first story involves Royal Caribbean, and looks like they're doing good financially. Royal Caribbean, North American consumers strong. Royal Caribbean Group has seen another outstanding quarter that exceeded expectations with increased booking volumes from North American consumers, and the North American consumer remains incredibly strong, said Chief Executive Officer Jason Liberty, speaking on the company's second quarter earnings call. Likely attributed to the strong performance in the second quarter to the quality of the brand's vacation experiences combined with the value proposition of a cruise. Caribbean sailings greatly helped the better than expected performance, he added. Caribbean itineraries account for about 55% of our full year capacity and about 37% in the third quarter. Strong demand for Caribbean itineraries contributed to the strong performance in the second quarter and is one of the key drivers of the increase in expectations for the full year, he said. Chief Financial Officer Tali Holtz added, strong demand for the Caribbean itineraries contributed to the strong performance in the second quarter and is one of the key drivers of the increase in expectations for the full year. And let's see. The company is continuing to drive Caribbean capacity with the introduction of the Icon of the Seas, sailing from Miami next January. The Utopia of the Seas will also debut in Florida, sailing short cruises year-round from Port Canaveral starting in summer 2024. So they got the two new ships coming out, and seems like there's a lot of excitement around that. People booking the cruises, spending a lot of money on that. And that will lead us into our next story, which is kind of a companion piece to that one. And here we go. Royal Caribbean sees continued increase of onboard spend. Onboard spend is driving strong revenue performance for Royal Caribbean Group, the company announced during its second quarter earnings call. So the incredible yield growth is driven by strengthened pricing and onboard spend for both new and like for like hardware. While it's still too early to provide any specific color for next year's outlook, clearly the very healthy demand environment we are seeing is quite encouraging, said Chief Executive Officer Jason Liberty. Our customers remain engaged and eager to vacation and build memories with us as they continue to shift preferences towards experiences over goods. The company reported that over the last few months, experience spend was up 25% compared to 2019, with double that spend on goods. Even with increased pricing, we're not really seeing that point where price is impacting our demand, continued Liberty. Liberty revealed that the main driver of that has been the company's ability to be much more effective curating the process for its customers to book their activities on the ship. Our ultimate goal here is to try to give a day back to our guests to come on our ships, and instead of them having to spend a day booking their restaurants and booking their spa appointments and more, they're able to do that ahead of time. Liberty continued. So, I know a lot of people have been talking about increased prices, and is there going to be more increases and things like that? And if you listen to what this article is saying, it sounds like Royal's keeping tabs on how much money is being spent, what it's being spent on, and they've been paying attention to the fact that they're raising prices, and people, there hasn't been a drop off in spending. So that ought to tell you something. So, there might, if I'm reading that correctly, or if I'm using my deductive reasoning skills correctly, there might be more, increases. As long as people are willing to pay it, then, they're definitely not going to lower prices. So that's just my opinion. I might be totally wrong on that, but what do you guys think about that? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And today is a big news day for Royal, so we will have another Royal story here, if I can find it. And here we go. Spectrum of the Seas sets sail to Japan. The Spectrum of the Seas is setting sail to Japan today, marking Royal Caribbean International's return to the Far East. The vessel is kicking off a 12-night cruise to Yokohama. Sailing from Singapore, the one-way cruise includes stops in different destinations in the region, including Nha Trang in Vietnam. On its way to Japan, the Spectrum of the Seas is also scheduled for a 2-day visit to Hong Kong and a stop in Taiwan's Keelung. The 2019 built vessel then sets sail to Shimizu. I think that, I'm not sure how you say that, and Kobe before arriving in Yokohama on August 12th. After arriving at the port, which is located near Japan's capital city, Tokyo, the Spectrum is set to start a second 12-night cruise to the Far East and Southeast Asia. Sailing back to Singapore, the itinerary also includes visits to Nha Trang, Hong Kong, Kobe, and Shimizu, in addition to new stops in Ho Chi Minh City and Kagoshima. Sailing back to back, the two cruises can be combined for a 24-night round-trip itinerary to Japan, sailing from Singapore. Continuing its year-round program in Southeast Asia, the Spectrum is then set to continue to offer short cruises from Singapore through early 2024. Departing from the Marina Bay Cruise Center, the 3 to 5 night sailings include visits to ports in Thailand, Malaysia, such as Penang, Phuket, and Port Klang. Between September and October, the ship is also scheduled to offer 2 additional 12-night itineraries to Japan and the Far East. In April 2024, the Spectrum is marking Royal Caribbean's return to China as well, with a series of 4 to 7 night cruises from Shanghai. Part of the 5-ship Quantum class, the Spectrum of the Seas was delivered by the Meyer Werft shipyard in April 2019. Custom designed to sail Asia, the 4,200 guest ship was initially based in China on a year-round basis. So there you have it. Spectrum of the Seas, sailing out of Singapore, going to Japan and back. So that's pretty exciting. I haven't done any cruises over there, but I'd definitely like to. It'd be something cool to check out. And so that is that. And we will move on to our final story. And this is kind of an interesting story for a number of reasons. And here we go. New Crystal ready to start service in Europe. Now, if you remember, if you think back to last year, Crystal Cruises was the cruise line that was owned by a Chinese, or it was a company based out of Hong Kong, and they went bankrupt, and they stopped paying their creditors, their suppliers, and so I think there was a couple of their ships that were down in the Bahamas region, and they had received fuel and they didn't pay for the fuel, and they just kept sailing, and then both ships were arrested, I believe, down in the Bahamas somewhere. And then that was a big story, it's like how does a cruise ship, you hear about people getting arrested, but cruise ships getting arrested. So that's why I thought this story would be kind of interesting to folks to kind of follow up and see what happened. And apparently a lot of their ships were sold off to different cruise lines, but apparently there's this new company, and they're reviving the Crystal Cruises brand. So we'll jump into this one. So new Crystal cruise, or new Crystal, ready to start service in Europe. A&K's new Crystal brand is ready to start cruise service in Europe. Using two of the Crystal Cruise's former ships, the Crystal Serenity and the Crystal Symphony, the new luxury company will launch service in the Western Mediterranean on July 31st. Under the guidance of the Abercrombie and Kent Travel Group, the new Crystal is set to offer an enhanced product that includes reimagined ships. Both the Crystal Serenity and the Crystal Symphony underwent major revitalizations in Fincantieri's Trieste shipyard in Italy. Work on board included a guest capacity reduction with the creation of larger and updated suites, in addition to what the company calls cutting-edge onboard wellness, world-class dining and entertainment venues, and more. While the Crystal Serenity is set to welcome guests back on July 31st, the Crystal Symphony follows suit a month later. Here are the details. Crystal Serenity, capacity 740 guests, tonnage 68,000 pounds, or 68,000 tons. Year built is 2003. First cruise is going to be July 31st, 2023, and going to sailing in the Western Mediterranean, Northern Europe, and Canada, and New England. Home ports: Marseille, France; Lisbon, Portugal; Southampton, England; Reykjavik, Iceland; Quebec City, Canada; New York City, United States, and more. After a $150 million refurbishment, the Crystal Serenity is set to resume service on July 31st following the first cruise in the Mediterranean. The 2003 built vessel is set to offer a short program in Northern Europe before repositioning to North America. Sailing between New York City and Quebec City, the Serenity also offers a series of cruises in Canada and New England in September and October. In early 2024, the ship set sail on a 125-night world cruise that visits 29 countries and 62 destinations. So that's pretty cool. And then we have the Crystal Symphony, capacity 606 guests, tonnage 50,000, built in 1995. First cruise will be September 1st, 2023, sailing in the Eastern Mediterranean, Indian Ocean, and Australia. Home ports will be Piraeus, Greece; Istanbul, Turkey; Venice, Italy; Dubai, UAE; Mumbai, India; Singapore, and more. Following the Serenity, the Crystal Symphony is scheduled to resume service on September 1st. Also renovated at the Fincantieri shipyard in Italy, the 50,000-ton vessel is set to offer a series of cruises in the Eastern Mediterranean, which will be followed by winter programs in the Indian Ocean and Australia. Among the destinations being visited by the ship are the Greek islands, the Adriatic Sea, the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and Southern Asia. So there you go. I think that's pretty cool that, they survived the whole bankruptcy and ships being arrested, and so now they're kind of being revived. And I know from what I've read, they had a pretty loyal customer base, and a lot of people were disappointed by when that whole financial situation happened last year. So we'll see if those passengers return and what they think about it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments about these stories. And by the way, I hope everybody had a good weekend. Hope everybody got to go out and do something fun and stay out of the heat as much as possible. I myself had a pretty low-key weekend, just kind of working around the house, keeping the house clean, that kind of thing, watching a little sports. But that is going to do it for today, folks. I'm going to wrap it up. Appreciate you guys for watching, and I will invite you to, if you like this video, if you like this content, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And as always, if you're watching this and you're not a subscriber, I would invite you to go ahead and subscribe. It's free, and I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate anybody that watches my lives or watches on the replay. I do appreciate that. And I appreciate all my subscribers. So with that, I'm going to close it out, folks. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you on the next one. Have a good day, everybody.